Well, finally, it's taken us a little while, but now we're finally online with the Paranormal Distortion Podcast. We're back. My name is Monty Prescott. I am your host this evening. I'm also the host of the television show South Texas Haunts, and I am joined by the lovely paranormal investigator, Shauna Davis. How are you doing this evening, Shauna?
I'm doing all right.
People have been asking for this podcast for a while. We used to do it. We're back. It took a couple months, had some health issues, but hey, I'm here. We're ready. I'm ready to go with this. How about you?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's get it going.
So on this episode of the podcast, I think the whole theory or thought behind my, I like to overthink everything, but the thought about this podcast is going to be about day one. Kind of going a look back of, where we've been and what we're doing now to date myself and be so old as I am these days, and I'm feeling it. Been investigating the paranormal for over 21 years. Corpus Christi Spook Central just turned 21 on July 4th.
21. Oh, to be 21 again.
Nah, I'm good on that one. But mid-30s would be great. Mid-30s. Hit 40s, the check engine light came on. It has not gone off yet. But yeah, it still blows my mind that we've been investigating the paranormal for over 21 years. You, of course, came in when did you come in?
2012-ish, 2013-ish.
So yeah, you've got about 13 years, 14 years, I think. The math's probably not going to add up on that.
Yeah, well, math never does add up properly.
Yeah, but I remember, and jump in the Wayback Machine, and go all the way back to like 2004, 2005, starting Corpus Christi Spook Central. I never thought that we would be where we're at today. I figured it would last 6 months and that'd be it.
So speaking of starting Corpus Christi Spook Central, how did Corpus Christi Spook Central come about?
Well, way back then, of course, the TV show Ghost Hunters was out, and I watched it. My mom watched it, and we had a shop in Corpus, and I'm not going to say where because I don't need anybody going over there and messing with it because we're no longer there. We started having some strange ghostly occurrences, but of course the story behind the building is that it stored fatality vehicles. And after a little bit of historical research, there was actually a farmhouse there, and there was a tunnel that led from the barn that was no longer there to the main house, and but they used it as a conveyor later on. But we were told that it was used during Prohibition to hide people, stuff like that. And things started happening in the shop, voices, things getting moved, and I'm not even talking like the 10 millimeter just disappearing on its own. That is supernatural on its own. There was a group here in Corpus during that time, and they came over there and they investigated, and they were very adamant in wanting my mom to join. She did, and of course, I don't remember how old I was when all that started, but 21 years, so I was like 19, 20. My dad was like, I don't want mom doing this on her own, so you're going to do it too. And that's kind of how things kind of started off. Now,
it's kind of interesting. I mean, we all kind of get in it for our own reasons and things that put us there. But so that was kind of your interest was because your mom got you into it, right? I mean, you yourself weren't kind of.
Was I totally like into it beforehand? No, I wasn't. I was a grease monkey. I turned wrenches on cars. And still to this day, as you know, that is my passion and one of my loves. But, growing up, I was that kid that carried the proton pack. I was a Ghostbuster, and I am a ghost head today. Yeah, I mean, that would make this even cooler if we could carry around proton packs.
I mean, who's to say you can't?
Oh, I can. It just would look really funny on a TV shoot wearing around a proton pack. But you know what? I'm hoping for the Halloween Live this year to dress up. Maybe there might be a ghost trap or a proton pack that makes it on TV this year. I don't know. It might.
So where did the name Corpus Christi Spook Central come from?
Wow. Well, that's simple. Ghostbusters. It took years later. You were there when this happened. We went and saw the movie Ghostbusters in theater, as I do every year if they show it. And he's sitting in the cell area, and Dan Aykroyd looks at Bill Murray and says, "Your girlfriend lives at the corner of Spook Central." I remember watching the movie, and because we were with this other group, and like I said, I'm not going to say their name or anything. And they weren't doing anything. They weren't doing investigations. We were having a lot of meetings and talking about paranormal. And I'm very much an overachiever. And I when I put my time and effort into something, I want to be as successful as possible. So one day I'm watching Ghostbusters, and it was around July 4th. I remember going to my mom and I said, "Hey, how does Corpus Christi Spook Central sounds?" And she goes, "Oh, is it another group? Well, who are they?" And I said, "It's us." And she looked at me like I was crazy.
And therefore, Corpus Christi Spook Central was born.
It was, and
21 years ago.
21 years. And when we hit the ground running, I never expected a lot of the things that came from it. Being on national television, being in books, having a radio show, doing events around Texas, especially here in Corpus Christi, meeting you. That was one of the other, things in my life that changed the course of my life. Doing this has profoundly changed my life in ways that a lot of people will never understand. But I thought this was going to last like 6 months. I really did.
So what is it about Corpus Christi Spook Central that sets, would you say, other groups apart? Like I know our core mission and our values and the things that we do when we're on investigations and how we see things. So what do you think sets us apart from other groups?
That's a good question. I've met a lot of other groups I've met over the years. And how do I put this? I think what sets us apart is a lot of these other groups, and and I'm not trying to talk bad or anything. They watch the TV shows and they want to be the next Zach Bagans. They want to be the next Jason Grant. They want to go into buildings and just, what you see on TV is what they're trying to do. And I'm not saying that's every group that does that. I've witnessed quite a few of them that do that, and they're not, to me, not genuine to a degree. And I don't want to be the next Zach Bagans. I don't want to be the next Jason and Grant or Ghost Brothers, or I'm sure there's other paranormal shows out there now that's, or even Matt Rife. I want to be me, and I want to be truthful, and I want to just put the evidence out there. If we get it, we don't get anything, we don't get anything. And if we do, we do. And I want the public to look at that evidence and just make their own mind up about what we caught. If they hear something different, great. It's going to ignite a conversation. And that's what the paranormal field I always felt needed. Because starting out, there was so many groups out there, and now it's just like today I was on Facebook and the whole paranormal unity thing. And I remember when we first started out, it was, it was dog eat dog. It was groups. And it was like a paranormal war, groups putting other groups down and going after other groups and just doing whatever they could to discourage. And it's like, you can't do that. And it's gotten a lot better from what I see, but that's what we just always tried to be true to ourselves and just be us and not try to be the next Ghost Adventures or anything like that. We just wanted to be us.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that statement, and I understand that, people look at the paranormal as entertainment, right? Whether you have a TV show, whether you're just on YouTube, or whether you're just posting on Facebook, or whatever the case may be, like, it's entertainment. Anything anybody does in the public eye is entertainment, right? Whether it's somebody getting enjoyment out of listening to a podcast or enjoyment out of watching it on TV or YouTube, but being able to show that it's real. Like, we can go sit and investigate somewhere for 6, 8, 10 hours, and sometimes nothing happens. And being able to share that with people and be like, look, we were here, this time nothing happened, but we can come back, a year from now and something might happen. And I think showing that to people and showing the realness of paranormal investigating or being involved in the paranormal, I think that's something that our fans and people who follow us enjoy and like. Not to say that other groups aren't real, but a lot of other groups won't sit there and tell you, we went and didn't find anything.
There are, and you're right. And I think social media plays a lot into that these days. It is entertainment. In the beginning, it was about the science, what we find. But if you really look at it, we post it. And why do we post it? We post it to get eyes on it. We post it to, nowadays with social media, it's to get likes and shares and follows and all that stuff. Before all that, because when we started, it was the infancy of MySpace and YouTube was just kind of getting off the ground. It is, no matter how you look at it, it's a form of entertainment for people. People go to it because they have a genuine interest in it. some people go to it because they want to be scared. Some people go to it because they want to scare people and know the spooky stories. And of course, we're under 100 days to Halloween. So now we're in the busiest part of our year. But you do have some groups that kind of, I guess, blow some stuff out of proportion, or they'll get angry when someone says, well, I didn't hear that, or I didn't see that. And you can't do that. You got to put it out there and just let the people, there's going to be skeptics. There's going to be people that don't believe. There's going to be people that overbelieve. There's going to be, there's the whole realm now with social media, and just be honest, be truthful, and, throw that evidence out there and just stand behind what you have captured. And I think that's what's always made us unique, is we put it out there. And whatever someone says, I take it, and it's like, it's a conversation starter, and I want people to talk about a location, because we're not just paranormal investigators, we're historians. We're telling stories of these locations that we go to and the history behind these places. We're storytellers at the end of the day. We're just doing it more on the spooky side of things.
Right. And that's one thing we try to explain too when we go to the different locations, is that without history, there is no paranormal. Yeah. And the fact that some places we go to are very historic, and they're kind of like, well, we don't know if we want the paranormal to be part of our location. And it's like, well, we understand that, but you're also getting a different audience. If you really think about it, you have people like myself who history is really not our thing, right? To be honest. But we go into a location where we're kind of, paranormal is our thing, but history is not. But if we can put the two together and be like, okay, well, we're actually learning about history, and we're kind of getting into the history part of it because we can tie that together. But then you have those people who are complete history buffs who aren't really in the paranormal realm of things, and they do the vice versa. And I think that's one thing about being online and being all over the place, social media wise, is you're being able to bring two different worlds together for two completely different reasons. And they sometimes don't even realize it.
Exactly. I mean, there's someone who commented a couple of days ago about a place down in Edinburgh that I had never even heard of. And there's so many of these small locations or homes or stuff like that that are not well known. And because there's a spooky story that goes with it, it gets out there a little more, then other groups get a hold of it. And then one group goes and checks it out. And then next thing you know, it's a well-known place. I think, take Blackbeard's Restaurant, for example. We started going there a long time ago, and there was talk of a ghost, and we went and investigated. And we investigated like 2 or 3 times, didn't get anything. It's like, there's nothing here. And then the last time we were there, we get that little bit of evidence. And now Blackbeard is known as one of the most haunted restaurants in Corpus, especially on North Beach.
Right. And Blackbeard has been there forever. As a kid, I ran around North Beach and went to all those restaurants and ate in them. And I never as a kid thought, oh, there's ghosts here. Right. And so it's kind of neat as somebody who grew up in Corpus Christi, going to those restaurants and knowing the owners and, being around those things, to be like, okay, well, now this is kind of cool. Like, I can correlate that. And when people comment online and be like, what restaurant can I go eat at? I want to go to a haunted restaurant. I can send them right over to Blackbeard's and be like, go check out North Beach.
Like I said, it's, going back 21 years and being a part of a paranormal group, being a co-founder and being lead tech for all these years. My back is killing me, by the way. And just seeing the locations we've been to, the stories we've told, and it's just been a while. It's been a wild ride. Not to mention, all the charity stuff we've done as Corpus Christi Spook Central, and now South Texas Haunts, from Toys for Tots, ghost tours down at Heritage Park, public paranormal investigations. Berkler Mansion is one of those where we've done public events in Kingsville. I mean, we've done a lot of events a lot of places, and we working with Special Hearts in the Arts also. And being able to give back as much as we possibly can. That's been something else that's come from Corpus Christi Spook Central that is just amazing, that how people have opened up about the paranormal, and it's not as taboo as it used to be, and they're more accepting of it and the good that it has come from it.
And I also think public events give people, I hate to say normal people, but it gives people an opportunity to go on investigations and do things that normally wouldn't have that opportunity, right? Like public paranormal investigations or ghost hunts, ghost tours. They get that opportunity, like, I really can't do this on my own time. I don't have the means to do so, or I don't have the equipment to do so. And so they can, do those things. I mean, in all reality, that's how we met. My friends forced me, and I will always say forced me, to go on a public paranormal investigation. And it wasn't something that I was, mind you, I watched the TV shows, that type of thing. But it wasn't something I was always, I need to go on a paranormal investigation. But I think people who want that experience, being able to do public events, gives them that experience.
Well, a lot of people, they want to experience something, they want to see something, and they want to join a paranormal group. But, public paranormal investigations and other events give them that opportunity to go along, tag along, be an investigator, get into locations they normally wouldn't go into. And, it gives them that taste that this, I've had some people, hey, I want to join. And I've had some people, this isn't for me. And they get their scare on and they move forward. But I will say that is one of the most haunting stories I ever heard, is how we met. So.
And the thing about it too, I don't think people realize how time consuming it really is. Like, they see a 22-minute show or they see a 45-minute show on TV and they're like, okay, yeah, that's all they had on it. Well, not necessarily. We can go investigate somewhere for 8 hours, and then you have to watch all the video footage. You have to listen to all the audio. So you take that time, and 8-hour investigation is a week's long, sitting there going through all the evidence. It's very time consuming.
And then not to mention when we pass this stuff off to the studio, and now they have to go through it to put together either an hour episode or a 22-minute episode. And then from that, we have to do all the social media stuff, cut all the clips down, have teasers. And it's a full-time job. It's a lot of people don't realize when you get to a certain level with this stuff, it turns into a full-time job.
That it definitely does. So I know you mentioned Blackbeards. I think that was one of y'all's first kind of like key investigations. What other investigations from the beginning of Corpus Christi Spook Central would you say kind of shaped how you wanted to investigate and kind of got you guys off your feet?
Oh my goodness. You're making me time jump in the DeLorean right now and go back in time. A couple of them would be Sidbury House down at Heritage Park, the Ward McCampbell house. There is one investigation that goes back to almost day one, and that would be the house that was featured on the Discovery Channel show, A Haunting. Of course, I'm not going to say the name of the street. If anybody wants to figure that out, they can figure it out on their own. But, I've always told everybody, even when they ask, I will not tell you where it's at, what the street is or whatever. But, it's not that hard to find. And in another episode coming up, I really want to dive into that because there's so much. We've never talked about that investigation. We've never gone into great detail of how that came about. And what the show and what really happened was similar, but there was a lot of dramatics put into the show to really
entertainment.
Yeah, it was entertainment. It was interesting. I mean, it was interesting, very, very interesting to film that, and it was a lot different compared to what we do now, filming a television show.
So not only that, how do you think that of course, we grew into that. Corpus Christi Spook Central has grown over the years. I mean, you take something that started as basically you and your mom, right? Founder, co-founder, Corpus Christi Spook Central, and has grown in 21 years or has changed in 21 years.
Well, the number one thing that's kind of changed a little bit is, of course, Mom taking more of the back seat as being more investigator, where I'm taking a little more of the front seat as far as being more of the voice in the face. I feel that we're no longer really just a paranormal group. I feel that we've turned into something that there's not even a word for it yet. I don't think we're an entertainment company or something like that, where we do that stuff, but it just doesn't, like, we're a group still, we're still paranormal, but it just doesn't, we're more of a family now with everybody that are members. And I don't know, it's kind of different now. When we first started, we didn't get recognized as much. We get recognized a lot more now. Being able to host bigger events, sell out bigger events. I mean, last year we went all the way to Galveston, Texas to host a public paranormal investigation at the Lee Kemper Mansion, which was an amazing place. Wow, we just meeting all the amazing individuals, and there's been places we investigated, there was no paranormal activity, but they needed help personally. they were in situations that they couldn't get out of. And, we were able to point them in the right direction of help that they might be able to need to get. Like I said, it's just, I don't know. It's weird to describe just how we've grown, and now, we are, South Texas haunts. I don't know. It's just, how would you think we've grown?
Well, like I said, I've only been around maybe 12, 13 years, and I really, in all honesty, didn't know much about Corpus Christi Spook Central in my younger years. But just in the 13 years that I've been around, I think in all reality, just looking at us, we're just your average people, right? Who enjoy the paranormal. We enjoy giving back to the community who has made us, that we grew up in, and then being able to expand that to other locations and give back. We're just people who want to make the world better than what it is when we came into it, I guess is what you can say. We always have that mentality of leaving something better than as we found it, giving back. Like, for those who don't know, I work in behavioral health full time, right? And so being able, like you said, if it's somebody who is calling for an investigation and maybe it's not paranormal related, but they have other things they want to work on, or need help getting out of, we're able to help.
It's done.
We're able to help. Yeah, I know it's supposed to rain later. Hopefully it does. We need the rain.
We do.
But I think it's, and it's just, we're just everyday people living everyday lives, and we don't eat, breathe, and sleep paranormal, although it sometimes feels that we do, because of the hours that it takes. But I think when it comes to growing, I think we're learning as we go. But you're always learning, because once you stop learning, why are you still doing what you're doing? Mm-hmm. And I think that, like, you're right. Like, we're all family. We're all one big family. And where one person may not be able to, I hate to use the word pull their weight, we all come in and help each other, right? Like, we all have our strengths, right? Like, you're great at being the host. I could never do that.
No, just say the words. Just say it.
You're the grandstander?
Yes, that's all you got to do. It's just like you can grandstand like no other, and you are right. I don't shut up, and it's not. I'm not looking for the attention. I just I have a flair for the dramatics as far as being able to stand in front of people and gab and waste some air. So,
and that's 1,000% true.
Yeah,
and that's something. I'm not a grandstander by any means. Like, I hate to use the word shine, but I do better on small groups and conversations, 2 to 3 people. Grandstanding is not my thing, and that's fine, because we need all of that, right? And I definitely could not sit in front of a computer and watch camera footage for hours upon hours upon hours, just like you don't understand how I can listen to audio and watch TV at the same time.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me, but okay.
But that's my strengths and your strengths, right? And then your mom, she can do the same thing, and she's perfect with history because she can read and learn the history very fast, So we all have our strengths, and we have our producer and our team on that side. We have our other investigators who are great at what they do. So we all have our strengths, and all of our strengths together make what we are today.
Like I said, it's like I said, when I came up with the name Corpus Christi Spook Central, I did it because I saw my mom. She was really depressed, and she wanted to do this. She had a passion for this, and I'm not saying I didn't have a passion. I always, the unknown was always something that, I grew up in a house that was haunted, and I saw and I experienced, which will be in a later episode of personal experiences. But, I've seen some things, and that it'll make you run, and I've always had that question, what happens? And like I said, I don't know why that day I was watching the movie and it came across, and it was like, your girlfriend lives in Corpus Spook Central. And I was like, man, Corpus Spook Central. And I never thought it would become what it has. But at the end of the day, it's not because of what I've done or you've done or Mom or Tolly or Monica or David, or I can keep going down the list of every single person who's ever, put a CCSC shirt on. It's the fans that have invested themselves so much with us, and they follow everything we do. We just did the stickers, sent out over 100 stickers to fans, and that's on coffee mugs now. It's on back of cars, motorcycle helmets. And, the majority of the letters that I got in was, we're huge fans and we've been following you since day one. Or back in 2019, when we did the news article that we got on the front page of Corpus Christi Times, the young lady that came out to interview us, she, of course, she made me feel old, but it was in a sweet way when she said that her and her dad was watching the news one night, and she was like, I don't remember how old she said she was. She was like 10, 11, 12. And they saw a news piece that we did. And from that moment on, she had followed us, her and her dad. It was their thing. The paranormal was their thing. And that she grew up watching everything we did. She followed every investigation, any events we did. And sometimes it feels just kind of crazy that I know that we have those kind of fans out there. And if it wasn't for those fans that have invested so much into us, giving us that stamp of approval, I don't think we would be where we're at today.
No, I have to agree. And that just goes to show that you never know who's watching, who's listening, and where they're watching and listening from. I mean, when we first started our TikTok page, we had people from like the UK that were watching it. Overseas, we have that now on Facebook. Like,
we're nearing 30,000 fans on Facebook from all over the world.
Who in their wildest mind would have ever thought that? Like, I never would have.
No, it's kind of crazy. It's just, and the funny thing about it is that 5 or 6 years ago, because our first season on South Texas Haunts was a very short one. If you really want, it was a 1-episode pilot is what we did on the USS Lexington. I kind of look at that. I kind of feel like that.
Oh, the one where I knocked myself out. Yes.
Yeah, which we'll get to that here in a minute. But, someone was watching and they decided, hey, over at Chris 6 Studios, we got a phone call. They want to do a TV show. They have been following along. We had such a great rapport with our fans and the community and everything we've done in the media with all media here in Corpus and surrounding areas. They gave us an opportunity. You knocked yourself out. You knocked it out of the park. I
did. Or off the ship, either way you want to say it.
But it was, it wasn't even South Texas Haunts in the beginning. We didn't even have a name.
There was no name. Corpus Christi Spook Central Paranormal. The phone rang and they're like, hey, we're thinking about doing this paranormal show on Chris 6 and KDF. And it was like, hey, we're looking for a team. Do y'all want to be it? And it was that moment of like, excuse me? Can you say that again, please? What do you want us to do?
It was a real surreal moment. It was a moment of, huh? Because you don't ever think you're going to get that phone call. You never, you just don't. I figured being on Travel Channel, being on Discovery Channel, and being in books was about as good as it was ever going to get. I never thought that someone was going to knock and say, hey, I want to put you on TV.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know that I have friends and stuff because of course I grew up in Corpus, and I have friends and stuff now that are like, Shauna, I never knew you were into that. And I was like, well, I kind of wasn't. I kind of get dragged into it.
How I got dragged into it in the beginning.
Right. Not that I wasn't into it. It was just something that I did never talk about. Right. Like it was just things happen.
I drugged you though.
No, you did. I still get dragged.
Yep.
But that's okay. But yeah, USS Lexington, not only did we do that for the first time as a pilot, but we'd also been on the Lexington, 2 or 3 times prior to that?
Yes.
So I would say that's at least one of our notable investigations prior to the TV show.
I'd have to say the Lexington would be the largest place you can investigate in Corpus as the paranormal.
For sure.
And I know a lot of people talk about the Lexington. I've had some experiences on that ship, but I don't have the evidence to just flat out say that it's completely haunted house haunted. But I think, and you know what people say about opinions, and this is mine about the USS Lexington. Part of me believes that the individuals that passed away on that ship, or they've served and they love that ship, I think they're just still there. And I think that they're still standing guard and protecting this country. And out of respect to them, it's saying the H word on that ship. I don't know. It's one of those things. But do I believe that there's something paranormal there? There's no doubt in my mind. If you remember, we were down deep into the ship and we heard a female voice say hello 4 times out of nowhere, and we're the only ones down there.
Well, yeah, I also got scratched on the back of the leg. Like, how do you explain getting scratched on the back of the leg? If it was the front of the leg, I could understand because you're walking up those narrow stairs. And that's also where I got disoriented and missed the stairs, not once, but twice.
And you knocked the living out of you.
I did, yes. So
I
much
just remember,
that I couldn't explain equipment.
Now, if you go back on the episode, which is on YouTube, and you watch that moment she's sitting on the stage, and I come and I knew something was wrong because I had to leave for a second to get a piece of equipment because they were trying to do something with the filming and it wasn't working. And I had a piece of equipment that would help. When I got back and I walked up, I looked over at Shauna and I knew within that moment something was wrong because she's like, this thingy, that thingy, ding, 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 ding. I was like, don't this. All I saw was a pinball machine just dinging away and nobody was playing. And stepped in and she walked off and you could just tell she knocked the living out of herself.
Well, it's because we were below deck, and as we were coming back upstairs, I, of course, was just walking, not paying attention. They were filming us. We were talking. And anybody who knows me knows that I can multitask, but not when it involves walking or running. And I just knocked the living crap out of my head, and hit it. And you can actually see once we got above deck, you see that I either grab the wall or I'm falling out. That was my only choices. And so you can actually see me grab the wall. And then they're like, okay, well, what can we do now? And I'm like, let's go to the stage. That's all I could get out was let's go to the stage because I know that I need to sit down or I'm going to pass out. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, okay, well, explain the ghost box to us. And I'm like, I got this, right? I know this thing inside and out. I know what it does, how it does it. But the minute I had to explain it, I couldn't tell you what it was, where I was, basically, probably, what day it was, nothing. And I had this big old egg on my head.
It was a little bit of a comedic moment, looking back. In the moment, we probably should have done 50 other things. But in the moment that it was happening, it was a little comedic. Yeah. Because it was like watching Sylvester and Tweety Cat and just, you see the birds flying around your head. But,
the thing is, I wish would have kept doing it. I wouldn't have made us do anything else different.
Yeah, I know you would have. But looking back, that being our first episode, and now we're into season 5. Yeah, that's 5 years. It went by too fast.
And it does. I mean, season 5, 8 episodes a year. If you really think about it, that's 40 shows.
And, the one thing, I know some people will look at that, 8 episodes a year, that's easy. And it's like, it's not as easy as you think because you're not just asking, hey, let us come investigate. You're asking, hey, let us come in and investigate and put it on television. We're going to bring you attention. And some places are more than they're just open. I mean, we reached out to one location, which I won't say. It was not a nice email we got back. I mean, they could have been a little more professional, but it was a tell-off email of just like, what y'all do is rubbish. And it's like, and we need to stick with real history and real science because what you do isn't real history. And it's like, I believe the stories that's been passed down from generation to generation is a part of Texas history, that is a part of our culture and is just as much a part of what they consider real Texas history. Because it's something that's been passed down from generations to generations.
Well, the thing about that location was we got a green light and then we got a red stop.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, we want you, but you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, it was.
And I mean, it happens.
Yeah, it does. But you take your lumps and you move on, and we find other great locations, and or we go back to some to highlight them even more. When we first started out, we're doing something that Chris Six Studios has never done before. They've never produced a paranormal TV show. And in those first 2 seasons, we were both just trying to find our footing.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were definitely duck on water, right? Yeah. Trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. How should we approach this? Do we make it, mind you, we always want to stay family friendly, right? Because I mean, that's who we are. It's what we do. We're in the community, but we also still want to have that eerie, spooky effect to it. It's the paranormal, and everybody wants that still. But how do you walk that fine line to still have that to where you can still watch it with your kids?
I don't know. Gilbert likes the beep button.
He does, and we have to be very careful with that because I am one that will say things that I shouldn't.
Yes.
But I think I've done well the last 5 years, if I do say so myself.
I can say I've only gotten caught one episode. One episode he caught me, but yeah, we got a whole new season coming, so I try to watch because, like I said, Gilbert, he looks for those moments. I've heard he has a blooper folder for all of our moments, and I'm sure sooner or later they're going to talk about having bloopers on the show, which I welcome. You know, if you can't make fun of yourself,
we're human.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So what would you say has been the hardest transition to actually being filmed investigating? I mean, granted, we're filmed anyways as you're investigating because you want that evidence, but it's different when there's a camera following you around for the entire, not really entire, but basically the entire investigation. What's been the hardest transition for you?
There's a lot. One of the main ones is you kind of know the structure of the show, and you know that you have to go from A to B to C in order to get to D. So, and it's at least for me, it's gotten a lot more difficult, for the simple fact that, you know, we've gone through a couple of hosts. First being Chelsea Torres was our very first host. And then the wonderful and talented Clarissa Cerna. If you don't know who she is, you need to go check her out. She's on Facebook. You know, some people will remember her from The Voice. I think she was on Team Blake. She was actually with Shakira, I believe. Shakira, okay. I was gonna say I didn't watch the show, but she's a super nice person. But she became the host for season 2, I believe. Majority of the episodes of season 2, and then when we moved to season 3, she was on a couple of them. But Juan Acuñez, who worked over at Chris 6, he stepped up and kind of helped host for a little bit. And then we had, I know him by the DJ Hotcakes. His name's Johnny. It's all
Johnny,
yeah, Johnny. He does a lot of great things in Corpus too. And his wife came in to host 1 year for the Halloween special, but then they made the shift, and now I'm the host. So it's a lot more. You just have to kind of see the show as it develops right there. Even though I'm not the one that's editing, I kind of know what Gilbert and the producer needs. So it's kind of like, okay, I got to do the intro, got to do the outro, got to do the interviews and setting up equipment. It's kind of, I guess in a way it's kind of scripted as far as the structure of the show, but the investigating's not. And we have to make sure that we get the certain areas that we need. Like if we're in one area, we need to get at least an hour in that one area because, like you said before, when we're filming, we may do an hour or two in one area and we only get like 9 minutes of usable footage that might have something paranormal. So, you know, instead of a regular investigation, we're there like twice as long to film this show versus just going in to do a basic investigation.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think the hardest thing for me is trying to remember the camera. Like, I know the cameras are there, but trying to remember, like, pretend they're not there.
That was easy. Yeah, that was easy for me.
Yeah, not for me.
But
because I don't like to be on camera.
Yeah, that's the difference. I don't mind being on camera. You, of course, like people are listening to this right now, like, why can't we see them? Well, tonight, we know we wanted to do this episode, and Shauna didn't want to be on camera, so it's just easier for us tonight. So there's going to be some episodes you guys see that doesn't show us, but I promise on the next one, it's going to be one that you guys can see us, and the show will evolve a little bit more as we go on with this. But no, filming of the show has always been, it's easy, but it's so just time consuming because I set equipment up. I help film. I do the interviews. I do the intro and outros. I help Gilbert when he needs help on stuff. And I'm trying to remember every little thing that's got to be done because I'm so much a part of the show than just being an investigator or tech or a founder. It's so much more because I have to make sure everybody has what they need. So we have a very good and productful, that's not even a word. Productful is not a word. You know, it could be. We're making it a word. We're going to start the South Texas Haunts Dictionary. But, you know, we're in a location. We have an allotted amount of time that we're allowed there sometimes, and each second counts. And we want to make sure that every bit of footage can go into making a great episode and highlighting the history and highlighting the location and highlighting the investigators and highlighting the city that it's in. You know, and it's a lot on people's shoulders, and it's a lot on my shoulders, but we do it every time. I mean, this past week we just did 2 investigations almost back to back.
Well, yeah, and the one investigation had 3 different locations at it. I mean, so we're at one location that it was supposed to be 2 and turned into 3.
Yep.
So investigating 3 locations at one time, and then going 4 days later and investigating another location. And then, so not only that, we did basically 4 locations within 5 days of each other. And so now it's a matter of fact of sitting through and going through all the audio, all the video, and doing those type of things. Which, in all reality, I love listening to the audio.
I used to love listening to the audio until you took it away from me.
I never took it away from you.
You took it away from me. I was like, I'll help you.
You could run around with audio recorders and listen to your own audio, sir.
But the recorders you have are mine.
Nothing.
They're mine.
Okay, well, I'll give them back to you and I'll buy my own.
No, you don't have to do that. Well, look at like last year. I ended up getting sick last year and spent some time in the hospital. And at least you would say half the year I was done. There was no filming. There was nothing.
We did 8 episodes in 2 months.
Yeah. I honestly should not have been back doing those episodes, but I signed a contract and I promised 8 episodes, and we delivered 8 episodes. Hurting all the way. You can go back on that Halloween special last year and tell that I was not there. I was, when we struck, I think it was 11:30 that night, and we went off air on the Halloween special. I mentally had already checked out 30 minutes prior to that. I don't even remember. It is a blank because we did so much. I was
about to ask, what episode was our Halloween special last year? Where did we investigate that at?
The 6th Realm House in Victoria, Texas. And you're bringing this up because I saw the Facebook page and the way they had it spelled, and I mispronounced it in the group chat wise, and I called it the Huss House, and they just abbreviated it to make it it's the house. It's just the 6th Realm, and it wasn't Huss. I messed up. I have those moments. I'm allowed to do that.
Or you forget what city we're in.
Okay, so I messed up doing the intro at the Bolton House.
Bolton House you did, and then also when we were at the restaurant in the hot dog place in.
I don't remember.
Anyways, yeah, that place.
What hot dog place? No, what?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, first let me tell the story about the Bolton House. And I don't know why, because we're doing the intro. And I know I need to post after I think the episode's going to air this year, and after it airs, I will post the blooper on this one because it's funny. Because when I do intros in the beginning, when I started having hosting abilities to host a show and do the intros and outros, I would do like 50 intros because I would think too much and like just screw it up. So we're up there this past year, and I nailed this one out of the park. And as soon as it's done, Shauna looks at me and goes, "Bolton, not Belton." And I was like, "You've got to be kidding." It was amazing.
Where we were.
Do what?
I said, "Yeah, you forgot where we were."
I forgot where I was at. But
so Fluff's White House Cafe in Floresville.
Now that one, okay. There was some circumstance. That episode I filmed. That one, the crew could not go. And that's something else that I do. I do also. When the crew can't go, the filming's on me. So that was one I had to film. And it was one of those things. It was cold as all get out.
Yeah, it was cold.
I was tired. The upstairs, there's no windows. It was just open. I don't remember the intro, but I just remember I did like 100 outros. And they just kept getting goofier and goofier as I went on. And not like, I'll admit, at least 98% of those will never see the light of day, and that Gilbert does not have them. They are not safe for anything because I was so tired. It was bad. It was bad. But I finally got it.
You did take 175.3.
It was. I've gotten better. We were just at the Harbor Playhouse, and I nailed the intro in 1 and the outro in 2, but that's because Gilbert wanted a backup for the outro. So,
but we've also learned that I can't film your intros and outros because when I film them is when it takes 20 takes.
Because I feel like you're being so judgy.
Me? Judgy? Never.
You look at me and you're like, he shouldn't have said that. I'm like, what was that? I watch your eyes and you're like, It's like watching a parent disagree with a child's decision in that moment. You're like, I'm disappointing somebody. I've said something that is like, well, and then you go with, I wouldn't have said it this way. I would have said it that way. And I'm like, and then I have to do it again. And then I question it and I get deeper inside my head. And then we're like, take 5,007,822.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
But, you know,
our outlooks are different.
It's true. It's true. It's, as Kurt Angle, it's damn true. But I've learned a lot and I've gotten better over the episodes. I think season 5 is going to be, well, season 5 is a little bit of season 4 and season 5. So it's a little a mesh of all, because not all episodes aired last year. And that was a decision that we all came to. Okay, so me and the producer came to.
I don't come to very many decisions. I'm just along for the ride. Pretty
much. And so, you know, we have our thought process about our episodes and how we air them. And I think we've got everything. Like I said, we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot along the way. And I think that we have a formula that works now. Really good looking host. I know that. The host of the show is just, you know, he's a good looking guy.
He needs a wardrobe update, but we'll go with it.
But here's the question. You know, we've done so many episodes. I know you've watched yourself on TV, but I can't stand watching myself on TV because I critique myself so much.
I absolutely hate it. Like I said, for one, I don't like to be on camera. Why, I don't know. Yes, I know season 5, I've been on camera 1,000 times. I don't like being on camera. I don't like the sound of my voice. Hence why I kind of don't like wanted to do the podcast either, because I know that my voice is going to be out there. Mind you, I know it's already out there. Trust me, I know.
It's everywhere.
I don't know. I don't like, one, the angles are terrible. Any female who takes selfies and takes pictures knows angles are important. And these men who are filming this show do not understand angles to save their lives.
I've gotten better. You got to talk to Gilbert. You don't talk to me. I learned. That's why when we were at the last investigation, I was going to get a shot from the stage onto you all in the crowd, and I was like, this is not the angle. This is the angle that puts me 6 feet under. This is the angle that they never find my body. Okay, this is the evidence that if something happens to me, it's because of this one. That's the clip they're going to show in court. They're going to be like, sir, look at this angle, and the judge is going to look at you and go, yeah, I'm going to, you know, she's innocent. That's horrible. I can see why you dropped him in Corpus Christi Bay now. So I knew better and I adjusted.
You would think they would have like classes for men to understand angles. Women out there listening, you understand. I think there's even some men that would understand. But, you know, and it's not even the fact that, I mean, I don't know. And I feel like I need a whole new wardrobe because I feel like we are so like spaced out on investigations. I feel like a lot of the times I wear the same thing. So it seems like we're investigating day after day after day. And I mean, I got a closet full of clothes, but I do like to wear the same things just because, you know, that is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just my own.
I think my main problem with the show, and it's me, is because of my health problems that I've had, and I've gotten healthier, and I've taken better care of myself now. Like the medication I'm on, and I've gotten healthier. My pores are more open now. They're not as clogged from all the sugar.
You're sweaty?
Yeah, I'm sweaty. So during some intros and outros, because I've already been doing some stuff, there's some sweat, there's some perspiration going on. And it's like, oh, that's just horrible.
And those night vision cameras catch it all.
They do. And it's like, I carry an extra shirt now on investigations, or I wear a shirt that I can slip over to do the intros and outros. So it's not so bad. Because some of these places we go to, they're downright just miserable. Hence, Fright Night Haunted House. That was like the downstairs and the other areas were okay, but inside that haunted house, and we own a haunted house, Paranormal Fear haunted house. We know the heat that comes with the haunted house, and that heat was worse than what we dealt with in our haunted house.
Maybe I'm just getting used to it because I didn't think it was all that hot, or maybe since I'm getting healthier myself, the heat just doesn't bother me as much. Who knows?
It was buckets. I was sweating buckets in that one, and the worst one was Kingsville. Was it last year we did it? Kingsville, 2 investigations one night, and we switched crews and locations.
Train station and the municipal building.
This municipal building, yeah. I had this bright idea.
Him and his bright ideas, guys.
Bright ideas. I had this bright idea that we're gonna do. We had 2 locations in one night, and they were just a block from each other. And it's like, listen, we're going to send, I think it was Mom and Tolly over to the municipal building, and then Shauna and Melissa are going to go over here to the train station, let them investigate for a few hours, and then we're going to switch. In theory, it was great. Practicality, it was a disaster. But it turned out okay.
It did, but mind you, it was just in Kingsville. We could have gone back the next night.
We could have. But, you know, it is kind of hard for the crew to be there on some of the investigations because there are other things going on that they do film, that they have obligations to. And we do try to fit everything in that schedule at times. And that was one of the times that we tried fitting things in. And the problem is that we had one really good camera that could film the show, and we split that one between a camera that wasn't as great, but it had some audio issues, and we only had one wireless audio thing, and then we just had technical difficulties. But now we don't have that problem anymore. We've got double the cameras, double the equipment. I mean, we have gone all out, and we have a very good setup now when it comes to filming the show.
Another thing I have to watch for is I talk with my hands a lot. So when we're investigating, I can't talk with my hands as much. That
is not the only problem you have.
Okay.
It's all about the face.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say the word.
I do have RIB or RBI.
Yeah, yes. You do.
Or RBF, is it?
And there's moments that it's just so.
But that's just my natural face. Like, I don't go around smiling all the time.
I get that, but for people who at home are watching, they don't understand, and it's like, oh, I know that face, and I know when I screw up, and I'm like, oh, I know that face, and then I have that moment of, oh, I got to go home with that. Ooh, she's mad, and
so I apologize now, everybody. That is just my face.
So if there's any moments during the show you see me with a really worried look face, just know I was in trouble for something I probably shouldn't have been doing, or again, I got a wrong angle on something, and she knew right away I did.
So, I mean, that's just my face. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. That's just who I am. Because if I went around smiling all the time, it would look fake. And people would be like, okay, she's just crazy. She's off her rocker. She's lost her mind. Which I have anyway, so it is what it is.
Or you're on some really great medication.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea, too.
But no, it's filming the show. It's great. It's amazing. We're taking a little break right now. We've got 2, 3, 4 more investigations to go before this season's over. I think we pretty much have all our episodes. We're just overshooting on a few, and then of course we have our Halloween special, which is still up in the air, and a couple of undecideds that we're working on.
Story of our lives.
Pretty much. And then we'll get a small little break, and then with the winter months coming up, I'm really, as far as the temperatures are cooler here in Texas, I think we're going to knock out a lot of next year's episodes early. So, because this heat this year is just, dog days of summer.
That's what we get for living in South Texas.
So I think
in all reality, it's everywhere. So
it is everywhere. Everybody always, we have fans in Arizona. We have fans. I think there was someone over in the UK. They're like, it's a balmy 78. And I'm like, just please.
Send it my way, please. I'd love a balmy 78.
It's balmy 78. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come
I'm
to
a
Texas.
Balmy 110.
Yeah. It's 110 here in Texas. Let's not. But, we've talked a lot about the show. We talked about CCSC, which we're going to have shows that come up that we're talking just about certain investigations from back in the day or certain investigations from the show. And I also want to throw some other stuff in there because I think, what's the time we've been on this? I think we've been doing this for about an hour already.
57 minutes and 29 seconds.
57 minutes. And if anybody is still listening to this after 57 minutes, I'm telling you right there, I'm probably, we bored people. Yes. But I also want to cover new news and then what we might have coming up and stuff like that. So I think this past week there was a little bit of news in the world of paranormal. Matt Rife and this other guy, I don't remember his name, she's looking it up real quick because I don't remember the other guy's name, but they purchased the Warrens' home. They are now the legal guardians of the home. From the video I saw Matt Rife talking, I believe it was he's the caretaker now of Annabelle and the items, but he bought the home. They own the home. They're just the caretaker of the items. I'm sure there's some legalities and all that stuff. So the question is, what is your thoughts on this whole, and this isn't the first time the Annabelle doll was in the news this year. That paranormal investigator who passed away after handling, that was the first time this year. It was up in San Antonio. We didn't go.
San Antonio, New Orleans, Arizona.
Yeah.
So he purchased it with his friend who's a YouTuber, Elton Castee or Costi. I'm probably saying it wrong. It's Castee. Costi.
If we're mispronouncing it, we're so sorry. Not our intention.
Please forgive me.
But they purchased the home, which surprises me that Zach Bagans didn't purchase it.
From what rumor has it, he says he didn't want it.
Which does surprise me. And I'll say this, it's probably because the deal from what I've read and what the video showed is that they don't have legal possession of the items. The supposed haunted items that's inside the museum, they're just the caretakers of the items. The items still belong to, I think, the Warren estate, but they purchased the home that the items are in.
Right.
And they're, for the next 5 years, from what the Matt Rife said on his video, is, I guess, the contracted date for them. They're going to allow paranormal investigators to go in and investigate and all that stuff there at the Warren house. I don't know. That might be a Halloween episode in the future for South Texas Haunts, making that type of trip up there. But it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting deal about the Annabelle doll. So here's the question. Do you believe that the Annabelle doll is as haunted as they say it is?
Are you asking me or the people?
I'm asking you.
Here's the thing about that. I don't know. I have a Raggedy Ann doll in my closet. And I do believe that spirits can attach themselves to items. Like, I do believe that. But I also think that a lot of coincidences happen and lure happens. And as humans, we get things in our minds and we rattle it around and we want to believe things. Like, I even heard a rumor that the Annabelle doll that was touring and all these things was happening wasn't even the real Annabelle doll.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
And so all these things that are happening, if it wasn't the real Annabelle doll, was it all just coincidence?
It's one of those things. Because is it just a doll? I believe, and this is my personal opinion, if you give an object power, then it has power over you. That is my wholehearted opinion about the whole Annabelle doll. To me, if you give it power, it has power over you. As I said, I believe the same thing with Ouija boards. You give it power, it has power over you. As an investigator, when someone says something's haunted, at the same time, it's like, I want to experience it. I want that moment. And that hasn't happened for a lot of these artifacts and a lot of these, things. And
well, that's with anything. I mean, you give anything power, the power is over you.
Oh yeah, of course. Now, it's not to say I do believe some items can be haunted. I think some items holds that energy. I had a wicker casket at one time. I was at an auction and thought that would be cool, and it was a wicker cooling casket. And I bought it and brought it home, and strange things started happening left and right. And I got rid of it pretty quick. But was it the spirit or something attached to it? I didn't investigate it, because the number one rule, at least for me, is you don't ever investigate where you lay your head down. When I got rid of the casket.
Right.
So, but as far as the Annabelle doll, the whole Matt Rife thing, it's interesting. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. I'm curious to see how he handles this situation. They're said they're going to allow investigators to go in and investigate the house and the haunted items. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, because if it is, and it does have that kind of energy, would you want to take that risk to go in there?
I mean, that's the thing about it too. Like, if you know something has that much power and that much energy, do you allow other people to, yes, experience it. Yeah. Right. But do you want to be responsible for what happens?
Exactly.
There is no reward without risk.
Exactly. Hence 21 years of paranormal in the South Texas area. We're more Corpus now, we're South Texas. And that is something else strange, is going from Corpus Christi Spook Central to South Texas Haunts. Because for all the years, I'm used to saying CCSC.
Yep. And but the thing about it is too, we don't just investigate in Corpus Christi or South Texas. Like, we investigate all over the place.
No, we're only, because of the broadcasting at the moment of our network and station. We're only South Texas, but that soon is to change. There's things in the works. So
there's always things in the works.
We're excited about new things that's going to be coming this October, where it will reach a lot more people and people will be able to watch more. And I can't wait until we get all the details for that.
Yep, so stay tuned for those updates and more updates to come with a lot of things South Texas Haunts.
So let's see. We covered part of the history of CCSC, kind of the beginnings of South Texas Haunts, a little bit of controversialness with Annabelle stuff.
Some notable investigations.
That's
kind of our first investigations as South Texas Haunts, kind of like your first investigations as CCSC.
If you can see, she's starting to try to wrap this up. That's what she's doing. She's telling me it's time to go home. We've been doing this for over an hour now. She's got that look on her face. It's time to wrap it up. It's time to go home. It's time to go to bed. That's what she's trying to tell me, folks. She wants.
Well, no, I was helping you wrap up, like say things we've gone over.
You know, I got to do an outro for this, right?
I know. You always got to do an intro and an outro for everything the Grandstander does.
I'm just going to have to do this. I'm going to have to wing it this time. Because I don't have pre-recorded stuff that I'll have next time. It's all going to be different next time. Each show is going to be different. I want this show to not be just a cookie cutter paranormal podcast. I want it to be personal. I want you guys to be just in the thick of it with us. And what we do and have done for all these years, we're going to throw this out there. Y'all make the decisions, what y'all think. Like it, love it, hate it. As long as it sparks a conversation and a little bit of the imagination, I think that's what we're shooting for.
It's all about conversation, right? Like everybody's going to have something either good or bad to say. And I mean, that's your prerogative. And if you have something good to say, we'd love to hear it. If you have something bad to say, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, because that's how we grow and that's how we improve. And over the next couple months, I know in October we're going to have I'm thinking a couple of live podcast shows after the airing of a couple episodes to kind of talk about it. It'd be a little shorter episodes, like 30 minutes. I want to grow the podcast. We're being more social media responsible and posting a lot more, which we do apologize a little bit for. There's that algorithm thing out there that just beats you. I mean, it's just when you got close to 30,000 fans, you try to make sure everybody gets to see your stuff.
Yeah, and it's important. Like, and there's times that he posts and then I post, and we're not aware that each of us is posting.
We're just we're a bunch of posters.
Engage when you can, and we appreciate the engagement and contest. We like the contest.
Which I think tomorrow or Tuesday we're going to go ahead and announce this show. Whether you guys are going to listen to it, you guys are listening to it tomorrow because I want to edit it tonight and get it up for it to be distributed out tomorrow. It's going to be on YouTube tomorrow, but don't worry, don't fear. We are going to start getting it set up to where it goes out.
Haunts is here.
Don't worry, don't fear. South Texas Haunts is here. I think we just got a new tagline. I think I know what I'm going to do for the next outro. Oh, brother. Oh, there goes the ego a little bit. But, I
came up with it.
I'm going to steal it.
As always.
I'm going to steal it. But we're going to get out on Spotify. We're going to get out on Apple Podcasts. We're going to get out on a whole bunch of other platforms. But we're going to start with YouTube first and kind of start dipping our toes in the other places and see how it goes. If you guys love this, comment. Let us know we're doing something right or wrong. As long as you guys are interacting with us, we'll continue to come out with episodes as wacky as they might be. I did this for 2 years in the very beginning with David Garza. We did a podcast called Beyond the Grave. Before our podcasts were really like podcasts, it was on Blog Talk Radio, which was really weird when we still had dial-up. That's how long ago we had dial-up. I'm old.
I was gonna try to make the noise, but I know I can't, so I'm not gonna try.
But in any case, it's going to be dropping tomorrow. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I hope you listen. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe and that bell so you get notifications when we upload some stuff. And I try to upload a little stuff every single day. But now
if you've made it this far, congratulations.
Yeah, you deserve. Yes, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for putting up with us during this podcast. But now it's time for the outro. So here we go. Let's see if I'm not going to screw this up. I promise.
I'm not going to watch you. I'll shut my eyes.
Don't watch. Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in tonight for Paranormal Distortion Podcast. You guys have been listening to Monty Prescott and Shauna Davis. We are two of your newest podcast hosts right here on YouTube. And if you guys want to know more about South Texas Haunts, tune on over to our Facebook page and all other social media platforms, because you have to remember we are South Texas Haunts. And if you've got a problem, you know who to call. How was that?
Sounded good.
I think it works.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're going to hit the stop so I can do the editing on this stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Remember, this show is copyrighted. Listening. Well, they're watching on YouTube. They're watching the screen. I'm going to have some type of fancy thing.
Okay.
But next time you'll be able to see us. But remember, this podcast is copyrighted by Corpus Christi Spook Central, South Texas Haunts. And the representatives of those, which would be me and Shauna. So, yeah, you guys can't...
Shauna and I,
that too. So if you guys want to use any part of this podcast for anything, you need to email us and ask us for permission. So on that note, we're going to say good night. And that's a wrap.